Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. So glad you're with us. Listen, we have a special guest, guy that I see frequently on the historic Atlantic City Boardwalk. First of its kind, longest of its kind. Phil Juliano, welcome to the show. We're so happy you're with us. We appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Vice President, give us your titles, because I think you do so much more than just as a Vice President, sir.
Yeah, my title is I'm Executive Vice President of Casino Operations and Chief Marketing Officer for Bally Corporate for the 14 properties we have now, and for the 2 that are under agreement that we will get under agreement shortly. So it's 16 properties in all.
Amazing things what you're doing with that property, and we'll get into that a little bit as we go along with this interview, Phil. But you have entrenched in this area, Atlantic City, Atlantic County, Jersey. Tell us a little bit about that background, please. Let the folks know at home.
Well, born and raised in Atlantic City, and a few blocks. I grew up a few blocks away from Bally, up on Atlantic Avenue in Ducktown. Used to run up and down that boardwalk and different times, and for fun, entertainment, or work. Sold newspapers on the boardwalk, worked on the beach chairs. I'm Atlantic City born and raised. I didn't leave town until I was 35 years old. So the city is in my blood. I can tell you a million stories about it. It's quite different today than it was, but by the same token, it's very near and dear to my heart.
And listen, I'm going to take you up on that too, and just tell some stories and talk about it, and then what we could do moving forward besides that beautiful property out there at Bally's, what you're doing there. So, you got Atlantic City in your blood. You ventured out into the world, the corporate world, and you came back. What brought you back here to Atlantic City, man? Because listen, we love it, right? It's home. But what brought you back?
Well, our company became focused under the leadership of Sue Kim and my direct boss, George Papanier. We became interested in becoming an omni-channel company, which meant we were going to be in all kinds of gaming applications, from online, interactive, we call it interactive, the interactive world, which is online gaming, and mobile sports betting. We're involved in volleyball that'll be televised. We're having affiliation with Sinclair Broadcasting. So everywhere there could be gaming, we wanted to be in it. And Bally's was out there for sale. And what it did was, if we bought a license in Atlantic City, in New Jersey, we could then enter the interactive space in New Jersey, which is burgeoning and growing, and we had to be a part of it. So there's also the physical property. So no one was buying it. And we looked at it, and at first we pushed back, but we wanted to get into the market. So when we bought Gamesys and we merged with Gamesys, a European company from Great Britain, very successful company. They were all over continuing their operations and growing their operations in New Jersey. So we bought the building, and then we discussed the situation, the license situation, with the Division of Gaming Enforcement, and they said, "Guess what? If you want this deal to go down, you're going to have to renovate this place." We said, "No problem. Don't worry about a thing. We'll renovate it." And then we're doing this during the pandemic, right?
Right.
So then we got in and took a look at the building. Oh my God, it was in bad shape, right? Especially the thing that bothered me the most, and I knew probably indicative of what I was going to find, was the 15 blue windows in the rose-colored tower, right? And that turned my stomach. That was about as bad as it could be. So I looked at that and I said, I'm afraid this is a harbinger of things to come, but let me get into this building and see what all needs to be done. And there was a lot that needs to be done. However, we're not done yet. We won't be done. We'll be done quite a bit by Memorial Day. But I welcome anyone to walk through that building right now and tell me it's the same building it was a year and a half ago. You'll see a marked difference, an incredible difference already. By the way, take a look at the building. You don't see any blue windows anymore, do you?
That's right. And I was just going to touch on that. I used to ride by, whether it be on Pacific or through the city or on the boardwalk. I'm like, what the hell is going on there? But listen, you came in and that article I read, I believe it was in the press or maybe somewhere else. And I said, man, this guy gets it. He gets it. He sees it. And folks, I just want to let you know this too. one of my favorite places to be. Listen, I love AC, our big casinos, small casinos, whatnot. Right now, that place is the most populous place on that 6th floor, whether it's the food, we're talking about that, the nightlife, but you've done an amazing job, and you guys hit the ground running. Like you said, instead of, it's the restorative narrative that I like talking about so much. You took a challenge and you went with it. You know, you touched on the evolution of Bally's as it's coming along now. Hit a little bit more and tell the folks what's going on there, Phil, please.
Well, like I said, we're going to be an omni-channel company. We're going to be in everything you could imagine is gaming. And, you know, we're going to do it responsibly. We think some of the competition that's out there now, the DraftKings, the FanDuels of the world, you know, some of them are, you know, pretty reckless. I mean, with some of the promotions that they have out there, we're going to be a little bit more conservative, but we think we're going to garner market share in the end in that space. And then, of course, we have our casino and resorts division, which, as I said, is 14 casinos. And we'll close in the middle of this year. We'll close on our first Las Vegas property, the Tropicana in Las Vegas. Stay tuned for that. Right. And then we have another property that's going to be built, provided we get all the regulatory approvals in Pennsylvania out of State College, and that'll finish us off at 16. I shouldn't say finish us off. That, you know, I can't speak about anything going forward, but we probably are one that would be courted to look at deals wherever deals may evolve. And I think that's common sense that you would think a company is expanding like we are, people would reach out for us to see if we're interested in other opportunities. So, you know, and Bally is a destination property for us. Bally's on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. I just want to make one point, Mike.
Yep.
Could you imagine if this building was let go to the point in which it was maybe even closed or fallen apart in the center of the city, you know, another Trump Plaza situation.
Right.
I mean, how heartbreaking would that have been? So, and I don't want to get, you know, I'm not begging for compliments, but I think, I hope the people of Atlantic City and all the people of the area appreciate the fact that somebody came in to take this wonderful, iconic place and restore it to its glory.
And so well said. So well said, Phil. Listen, again, just telling folks, and I encourage them, whether it's on my social here, on the TV show, and on my radio show, get out there and see what we do. And I sit there. I'm going to applaud you for what you did, that whole crew, because like you just said, it would have been horrible to see that sitting on the middle of the boardwalk next to the plaza, which just got sometime about last year at this time got imploded. We could not have withstood that. I really don't believe that. And then, like you said, it's an iconic space. It's there and on that boardwalk, our fairway. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I love it there. Jerry Longo's meatballs on martinis, anything. I just could sit here and have so much fun with Frankie and the characters you have in there too. That's a great place too. So, hey, Phil, we're going to have you back. Listen, we got about a minute. Last word to you, man.
Well, I tell you, Atlantic City, it's got to make it. It's got to make it for the region. It's got to make it for the residents. It's got to make it for all the people that are working there. And in order to do that, it has to be safe. It has to be clean, and it has to beautify. At every opportunity it gets to beautify, it has to take advantage of that. I think the casinos spend hundreds of millions of dollars in their places to get them right. Everything else around it has to be right. You don't appreciate a great gift, a great package, if it comes not wrapped properly. So I think, you know, we got to work on the wrapping. And me and you are going to talk up to this state about fixing that boardwalk.
Listen, I'm with you 100%. I'm not behind you. I'll be side by side with you. And I mean that. You got me here. And I really believe that, again, it's the world famous boardwalk, right? That's what we say. Why would we let that go and people tripping over nails and this and what? And that's for another story. So, folks, we've been talking to Mr. Phil Juliano, Atlantic City born and bred. And we're so glad that you're back. Stay right where you're at, folks. We'll be right back.